Hello and welcome back to Pod Popper's Place and another Embossing Folder Friday. This month we are looking at clouds, and I only had 2 clouds in my stash. One cloud is a 3D embossing folder, and I believe it is from Altenew. And then the other one is very old, Stampin' Up, more whimsical and lots more clouds in it. And I decided to go with the 3D folder because, 3D folders are awesome. If you don't have any and haven't worked with them yet, you really should try them out. They're just make such a great impression. You do have to be careful what kind of paper you use, because if you use something too thin, it could crack it or make it split in two. So I wanted to use this heavy duty paper that I have and make my background. And I wanted to do some ink blending on it because I wanted this sky these clouds to already be covered. And rather than taking like a white piece of paper and then adding color after I did the embossing. And so I used different colors to kind of give it a little bit of a rainbow, kind of a little bit of a sunset kind of looking effect. And, this folder is more of a 6x6 size, so it's a little bit different. And you can kind of adjust where you put it on your A2 size card. So this wouldn't work great for a 5x7, I don't think. I just, the shape of it probably would be a little bit off. It would have to be, I don't know, maybe it would work. It would just be a little short for a 7-inch full card. So I sprayed my background with some basic water and some Perfect Pearls shimmer spray that I created, and then I embossed it. And as you can see, when I embossed it, I only use the basic plate and then just one cover plate. I don't use both of them because these are so thick. You can't use two of the top and bottom plates. Even if you go to the lower settings with a different base plate that folds up and stuff, it just gets really tight, and I almost have feared breaking my Big Shot occasionally. So that's how I do mine. And then I splattered it with some metallic spray because I just wanted it, this is a firefly that I'm adding to it. And so I kind of wanted it to seem like it was dusk maybe, or a little bit later in the evening, not quite daytime. So I just added some splatter to make it look kind of like stars. So I'm using my new RAM design stamp and die from MFT Stamps, and RAM is Rebecca Ann Miller Art. And if you haven't checked her out, you really should. I do have a link on my Instagram page to her artwork, and she does digital stamps, but she's also started working with MFT and done some of her stamps through them as well, if you prefer the actual physical ones. She has really cute designs, and I just love them. And I do use a lot of her digital art, but I always like to have the physical ones as well. I don't know, I just have it right there, and I don't have to go get on the computer and print anything off. My craft room's downstairs, the computer's upstairs, and I guess I'm just kind of lazy that way. But I love my coloring in because this is a fairly basic card, and I wanted just the background to kind of shine, and then the little figures to shine, and not create too much else to it. So I did leave my coloring in. I'm not the greatest colorer, but colorist, I guess is the correct term. But just so you can see how I do mine. And I just got this lavender Copic pen, and I've seen, people use the lavender to add the shading for skin color and skin tones. And I don't know if it's helping me as much as I expected it to, because I also use the ash rose as my shading for Caucasian skin. So I apologize if I sound a little funny. I just recently got Invisalign, and I am still learning how to speak normally with these things in my mouth. I'm very happy I got them because I've already noticed a difference in my ability to floss between my teeth, which is something silly. It's not usually the reason you get Invisalign, but it's definitely helping me there, so I'm thankful for that. And anyway, as I finish up my coloring, there's a couple of things that I'll struggle with. I always struggle with a shirt color for a boy. I don't know why. It just always gives me pause. And then the hair. I always struggle with the hair. So I did leave in a white spot, and then I wasn't quite happy with the white spot. It just looked a little too stark for me, and I went over it again with just a really light color, the lightest color of the browns and the yellows for their hair, just so it wasn't quite so stark. And then I use the TV1, I think it is. I use Spectrum Noirs for most of my coloring, and the TV1 I use a lot for glass, and then the IB1, I think it is the one I use a lot for shading, like other things, the things that are supposed to be white. And you know, I like the Spectrum Noirs, and I do like the Copics as well. I like the brushes on the Copics. I think it's a little bit easier to color with sometimes. But I was able to get this Spectrum Noir set from my daughter, who wasn't using them anymore, and was really grateful to her to be able to have all these pens and all these colors. And I have a color chart that's hung on my wall. It's like something you've got to have when you use these kinds of pens. I always look at it to see, okay, what color do I want to use next? Because the pen cap really does not match the color at all. So I add some silver to the little girl's dress, and I use this silver paint pen, and it's supposed to be extra fine point, but because it's a paint pen, it doesn't really stay where it's supposed to, and it bleeds a little bit. And so I'd really like if the Micron had, the Sakura Micron pens had a gold or silver, and I haven't been able to find that. So if you know of a really nice fine point pen in gold and silver, that would be great if you would leave a comment down below. And then I used some Stampin' Up! Markers just for those little tiny spots that I don't want bleeding anywhere. And then I used my grass dye from Tailored Expressions, and I colored a little bit on the grass. I wanted to do more. I should have done a little bit heavier, but I was afraid I was gonna bend the grass blades, and so I left it alone. And then I used a MFT shooting star die. I've had it for a really long time. I'm sure they don't carry it anymore, and it's not my favorite because it is so thin that it's a little awkward to lay down. I always feel like I don't lay it down flat, and so it doesn't quite look how it's supposed to, but I do like the big star, and so I went ahead and used that. And I wanted to have the color similar to what was going on in the sky. So I took some double-sided adhesive sheet and attached it to a small piece of paper, and then I just did some ink blending on there so that it would kind of match the same colors as were already on my background. So with a shooting star, you could have it with just the thin lines and you can see through the star, or you can add the star on top, which is what I chose to do. But tell me what you think, if you think I should have just left the inner star out and let the star kind of sheath through it, and tell me what you think. And then, you know, I just finishing up this card, I added some sparkle, and I added a sentiment from the set, and I just put it on a strip of paper, white paper, and cut it down, and then just clip the ends in different directions. Instead of like a banner, I did it sideways, because the banner ones I always seem to like not get it even, and it bugs me. Then I added these enamel dots that I just got in from dickblick.com, and then I just didn't think it had enough there, so I added some stickles, some unicorn stickles to that as well. So I just want to thank you so much for being here, for watching the video, for hopping along with all the other creators. To find them, search hashtag EFF3, that's EFF for Embossing Folder Friday number 3. And I sure would appreciate it if you subscribed and liked and left a comment and tell me what you think. And I hope to see you back again soon. Have a great day.